why don't I tell people who you are right now? Okay. Just, this is John White, and this is From Wall Street to Awakening. And John White is a Rife researcher and inventor from New Zealand, now living in Nanjing, China, with a background in electrical engineering, physics, and computer sciences. He has been researching and developing solutions to serious diseases since 2008. John specializes in energy and scalar resonance healing, biofeedback, and PEMF, pulse electric, we'll have to get to that, PEMF therapy. With an insatiable desire for truth and knowledge, John has collaborated with other research groups to discover answers to health issues. And John, thanks for being on. Thanks for being here for a chat and a cast.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's just incredible. So I know you because I bought a product called Spooky2, and it's a company that specializes in Royal Raymond Rife technology. Rife is a genius. I put him up there with Tesla and above Einstein, personally. So I think what you've done, I'll explain that John White has brought a technology that was destroyed, a technology from the 1920s and 1930s that was swept under the rug. And although it's been around, John made it affordable for everyone. He's a man on a mission to create awareness for society and help humanity expand and come out of their darkness and their indoctrination. But what he's done with Royal Rife is he's made this technology using frequencies to aid, to kill disease and to aid people in numerous ways. He's made it affordable for the masses. And he's probably pissed off a lot of people in the meantime from the pharmaceutical industry. But it's a joy to have you here. I think you're an amazing guy. I'm enamored with what you've done. I have 6 generators. These would be, just for the public, these are little blue generators, and they're very affordable. And each one is a Rife machine in its own. It's run from software on the computer that is free. You download the software, and then you have your generator, and you can do everything from depression to essential oils to cancer. And it's the coolest thing in the world. So John, we could do a cast just on how you got into Rife, but how did you kind of get into Rife and getting this product out?
Well, like a lot of people, I went through a few family catastrophes. I lost my grandparents in a short period of time. And I felt absolutely helpless. There's nothing I could do, no equipment I could buy to help them, and they succumbed to the big sea. And so that was always in the back of my mind. After that time, I was determined to upskill myself so I could give myself the tools that I needed to help other people. So long story short, I became electronics engineer, computer technology engineer, and bioelectrical engineer, and a few other things. But it wasn't to get a job, to work at some place. It was to give myself the tools I needed so I could build stuff, cool stuff that would work. And I was on this learning path. A lot of the training was formal. I went to university for these, and a lot of it was self-taught. And I befriended a gentleman in South Africa who made an absolutely crazy claim that he could treat people anywhere in the world without them being near him using a remote control treatment method. And being a very strictly taught electrical engineer, I said, this is absolutely rubbish, absolutely rubbish. But I've always had an open mind. So for the subsequent 6 months, I was saying to him, no, I'm doing what you're asking me to do, and I'm not getting any results.
What year was this?
Was it, oh gosh, maybe 10 years ago, I suppose. 10 years ago. I'm the worst person in the world to think what year something happened, because I always look forwards. I never look back. I always look forwards.
That's a great way to live.
well, some people see it as a bad thing. But I've got to use my fingers to work out my age whenever people ask me how old I am, for example. I just say, I never look back. I always look forward. And
at least you have a phone and a computer. I know people still just say, I don't even have email. I mean, that's crazy, So,
well, a phone is just through necessity, Sometimes someone needs to tell me what to buy at the shops, or I've got a really bad habit of going for long bicycle rides, and I love the freedom. I love coming back absolutely exhausted. But if I've got my phone with me, I can get home, because China's a big place and it's easy to get lost. So you've got a GPS to get you back home. Just press the home button. But also if I'm overtime, I get the gentle reminder to start heading back. Oh, it won't take long. I say I'm only about 30 kilometers away.
Oh my God, that's great.
No, I really seriously wonder. But I've been described as a running horse by a Laotian here, who is a teacher.
Wow.
He's not a religious teacher. He can see the future, and can help you to realize some dreams. I mean, this is just me rambling here.
Well, you're here to help and advance humanity. That's for sure. Because I mean, Rife was swept under the rug and destroyed like many other natural doctors. So you were saying you met the guy who said he could treat anything remotely.
Yeah. Well, in the end, I actually proved myself wrong, and I actually got a result. It was quite a stunning result too. I was doing everything how he explained, but then he'd say, "No, I'm doing something wrong," and then explain it. Oh, right, I didn't quite get that. Okay, I'll change it. It's lucky that this gentleman is Johann Stegman. He's a very patient man, extremely patient. And so between us, we managed to get this stupid engineer upskilled to realize that there's more that you can see and touch. And after I got the results, of course, I wanted to improve the results and make it so that my machine was better than his machine.
That's crazy.
He was using
what you're talking about, so the public understands it, is John's talking about treating an individual who, say, is in New York with a disease, but treating them remotely with a piece of their DNA, like their fingernail, from anywhere, South Africa, Mars, it doesn't matter, because in the quantum field, there is no time, there is no space differential.
That's right.
So it's the ability to treat anyone anywhere from a distance, just having a piece of their DNA, and then sending the frequency to the DNA using the Rife generator, the Rife machine. Okay.
So I did enhance the effects of the remote through experimentation. And then I released it. I was making them from the garage, it's only me. There was no one else. But I think times have changed, because if you alter something which is really good, it attracts good people. So now when we talk about Spooky, I'm really just a bit player. It's the people that do the hard yards on Facebook and on the forum. If we don't upskill people so they, so they can use it properly, then you might as well give them nothing. That you've got to buy things in the right way, choose the right programs and this and that. But we've got now a system that has got a huge following. I think, when people experience it for the first time, usually it's sort of like, wow, this is really out of the bag. This is, you don't hear about this on the news.
I mean, most people be like, they think like I'm crazy. They're like, you're insane. I have literally, I have dishes. Okay. If the public can see, these are dishes of people's fingernails with names on them. I have them like 4 different dishes of friends, family. So trust me, my dad knows when I'm using the technology. He's like, "Are you spookying me?" Like he's in New York, I'm in Singapore, and he's like, "Are you spookying me?" And I'm like, "Yeah," So
you feel it.
So go on. So
we sort of grew from there. I had a clinic whilst I was in New Zealand. I was treating around 50 people. I had 50 generators all lined up, and I was treating the people. And amazing results, absolutely amazing. But, this is something that you'll be very familiar with, Stephen, where I was effectively forced to shut down because of the medical establishment, the allopathic system. My clinic was just underneath the cancer research group, the Auckland University Cancer Research Group. I was probably maybe 3 floors down from them. Just
Wow.
a little quiet spot, but it wasn't quiet enough.
Of course, they had to shut you down because they had to make sure that the general public was safe. You know, that's always the buzz.
Yeah. They put that spin on it. That's right.
Yeah.
So that was that. So I, after that time, I spent another year in New Zealand trying to make things happen, trying to find a different venue, but I couldn't see things happening. I want to keep on advancing things at a good rate, and I couldn't do that with all the restrictions that are in New Zealand. So I decided, well, look, I get most of my parts from China. The Chinese people are more open in treatments. They have a lot of really crazy treatments that work as well.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not? Why not? So I went to China. I didn't have any plans to stay here. I didn't have any plans to get married. I didn't have plans to have a child. But you know, the universe had plans for me, and so that's what happened. And I'm very happy here. And so now, every day, I put all my attention to product development. I've got products coming up that 6 months ago I wouldn't have believed. Really exciting times. But you think about it, Stephen. Let's say 10 years ago, what Rife machines were there? There were like contact zappers for Holder Clark and Bob Becker and stuff, but nothing really, really good. Not to say that they're bad.
The ones I saw, John, this is why I'm so amazed. The ones I saw were thousands, $20,000, this big cumbersome thing. So you would never even figure out how to use it. Once I got over the curve, which is not that bad with Spooky2, it's spooky2.com, spooky in the numeral 2.com if you want to go. I'll put it in the link. But I mean, this thing, I could put in my suitcase and take it anywhere. And now you have Generator X, but I just couldn't believe what this thing could do versus what those big machines that were so bulky.
And it's got a free database. It's the largest database in the world, and this and this and this and this. But I'm not a salesperson. But our overall focus was to give as much as possible at the lowest possible price without cutting corners. So we're very, very serious with the products that we have. And so, we do think very, very differently. And I think this is why we've grown so fast and so many people just love us. You know, when let's say we get one of the users for our generators, they come up with an idea. They contact me directly. Why not, And they say, hey, I've got this really cool idea. That is a good idea. Let's make it happen. And we make it happen. It goes into a product. And all these people are contributing. It's not just me now. We've got hundreds of people working on improving things for everybody. Let's say I do a change in the software so that your generator now becomes 2 generators. Well, actually, the latest version of software does that. You may not be aware of this, but the very latest one, it can send different programs to the 2 outputs, or it can speed up the program so it only takes half the time by using 2 remotes on the 2 outputs. We've done this in the latest version. So I've doubled your number of generators for free.
That's amazing. Are you saying the blue generator XM? I can put 2 different remotes on it, or
yes. It splits the program amongst both outputs. And so if you have a remote extra, like 2 remotes, a program that may take a day now takes half a day because it splits between the 2.
Wow. But can I put a remote on Bio North and Magnetic North at the same time, or that's not what you're saying, and run 2 different programs?
It's best not to use Magnetic North remotes in general.
Okay.
It's good that you brought that up. They give a result faster, but after a while, it will damage your body.
Okay.
It's like having a magnetic south the polar south, the bio south against your body.
Okay.
That
Yeah, because I noticed your cancer presets in the newer software tells you to use BioNorth. And
Yes.
when I first started Spooky2, using your equipment, it was always, killing was black, killing was magnetic north and all that. So that's a little bit changed, yeah?
It has changed because we are leading edge. We haven't got other people to rely on or other papers to rely on. But what we do have is a huge pool of people giving reports back, and some people using specialist equipment to provide extra detail. And so now we can say with confidence that magnetic north is best not to use at all. Use the BioNorth for both healing or killing and killing.
With your original Rife frequencies, remember the razor saw, or it was sort of like on a, it looked like an angle in the system. So if I can use that with BioNorth now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the, okay,
absolutely.
Gotcha.
I would suggest you turn the magnets over for your magnetic north. I don't think in fact, we don't sell the magnetic north remotes anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, you only saw the black one. Okay. So I can turn a magnetic north into a BioNorth by just turning the magnet over?
Magnet around, yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, save a few pennies.
All right. So, I mean, so you were saying that now people from all over the world, it's taken on a life of its own, and you've innovated. You have scalar technology. You have the original Rife plasma, the Spooky Central, and the Spooky Plasma, which I don't really know the difference, but we're not exactly here to talk about products, but they are just so freaking amazing.
Well, when people look at our products and they talk on the Facebook and the Spooky2 forum, they come to realize that we are different from the other manufacturers. If we can think of any possible way of making things better for our users, not for our bottom line profit, we do so.
Yeah.
We want things as simple as possible, not overly complicated.
Well, I think, that was always, I could tell these things were bare bones. You were selling them. I think my first Blue GM, Blue XM was, $110. I don't think it's much more now. I mean, $110 for a Rife machine is.
Let me tell you how much they are now. I'm not a good salesperson, but I do know this fact. I was so happy to hear it. We sold them for $110. Well, we had to make another large batch. And I said, well, why don't we make it a larger batch? Because they sell very well. They're very, very good generators. With a larger batch, we could get them done cheaper. See, the printed circuit boards are larger.
Of course, yeah.
So the cost is down. We sell them for $100. We immediately pass the savings on to the consumer, immediately, without even worrying or
that was always something, I could feel that, I could just feel that was really a genuine, authentic thing that you were doing, because this thing, is the most affordable Rife machine on the planet, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's affordable. It's also got the most capabilities with the DNA database, the molecular weight database, the CAFL databases, and it's got a.
So the scalar is new, and the PEMF is not new, but I'm starting to. I've heard some really amazing things, not only with obviously pain and PEMF, but even reversing cancer.
Yes, well, pulsed EMF isn't really the best weapon to use against cancer. It's more of a healing thing rather than reversing a trend of cells replicating profusely. Okay. Our pulsed EMF machines have a very, very sharp pulse, very sharp, and this allows the pulse to enter the cell. And we have heard reports of serious diseases like cancer being reversed, but we haven't put much weight to it because they've also been using remotes simultaneously.
I see.
Pulsed EMF is really designed more for the macro illnesses, bones, joints, as opposed to cellular. Now, as I
Gotcha.
said,
So can I ask why I'll have you here? Because I'm running 4 machines as we speak, and my mom has, she's 89 and I'm in Singapore and she's in Connecticut. I have 2 machines running for cancer, one of your presets and another one for breast cancer because she has a metastasized breast cancer. But I have 2 machines running for, of course, with my mother's permission. If and I have 2, so I have 2 for cancer and I have 2 running for detox and blood cleaning.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, when you use remote, I always thought you gotta kind of keep running it, you know, but I know Rife was saying that the toxicity of killing cancer can help add to more cancer because, you know, you have to alkaline and all that. But I'm wondering, what's the protocol typically using remotes and blue generators if you're running 2 for cancer and 2 for detox? How long do you run them for?
Well, you do run them continuously, Stephen. We've got a protocol written. Have you looked at the cancer protocol?
I did, but like I'm, you know, a million things to do. So I just, you know, I've been running it 24/7. So that's basically it.
We've got one of our forum moderators, Brian Yamamoto. He's put a lot of time and effort into improving Spooky. And he's written protocols specifically for Morgellons, for cancer, and more. So I recommend that you have a look at the protocol because it's given each day.
I will. I did, of course, I did look at it. So to stay on track, you have exciting new products coming on. I mean, the website takes a while because, you know, there's an education to understanding who Royal Raymond Rife is and what his technology was. And he was from the 1920s and 1930s. While I have you, I'm blown away by Rife. I mean, the microscope he built, the universal microscope in the 1920s, could see what, I think 64,000 times in real time. It could film. I mean, this guy was super genius, right?
He was beyond his time. But unfortunately, he and his technology got trampled over. So a lot of what he was doing is lost, gone, destroyed.
Yeah. Did you get into the alkalinity thing? Because I noticed I'm into alkalinity and cleaning the blood and restoring immunity through nutrition. And I noticed in one of Royal Rife's documentaries that are hard to find, he was blown away that he realized when he went to, you know, he was literally growing cancer in rats. He was creating the toxic, low oxygen, acidic environment for cancer to, you know, proliferate from bacteria into a virus or a disease. And then he was trying to cut pieces of this cancer from the tumors out of the rats and put it under the microscope to view in real time so we can match the frequency. And he's like, by the time he went to look at it, it was dead as soon as he put it in an alkaline solution. And this was just a remarkable discovery that, you know, Otto Warburg also discovered in 1931. But he basically had to give the cancer the toxic environment while he was looking at it underneath his microscope so he could view it while it was still alive to figure out the frequency. Am I wrong on that?
No, that's pretty much how it is. Isn't it amazing how fragile and small viruses, bacteria are, and how miserable they make our lives if they take a foothold?
It's a fungus, right? It's a virus. It's a, you know. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Do you, one of the things there's a doctor, Glenn Warner, he died, I think in 2000. He was an amazing guy. He had a clinic in Seattle. Of course, they shut him down. I think he reversed cancer through alkalinity and nutrition. And he was actually like a normal doctor. I mean, he wasn't a surgeon or anything. But long story short, I remember his thing was he used to tell people who had cancer, do you want to live? And if they said yes, which most would say, of course, he would say, okay, you have to take control of your life, right? And I think you're familiar with what I'm saying. It's not just this machine, right? Can you explain what it takes to reverse cancer? And
well, actually, the logo for Spooky2 is take control. That is our logo. So it's funny you should say that. And can I just make a point? It's a good time for me to make this one. Advice for our viewers. If you're watching this video now, you've managed to get maybe halfway through. This is my advice to you. Cut down on watching TV. Cut down or don't do any playing games. If you've got any sort of disease, get serious. Learn as much as you can from as many different sources as possible. Look beyond the information that you're given and make learned decisions on how you're going to combat and how you're going to win over this disease. It's very, very important. Don't waste your life with Facebook typing or, or watching random things or TV. You turn on the TV when you get home from work and then you watch TV and there's another day wasted. What have you learned that day? How have you improved yourself? How have you improved your quality of life? You haven't. Yeah. Just watch TV. So just, if you can, cut out TV completely. Or if you do, choose what you're going to watch and watch that one. Don't deny yourself something that you enjoy, because that's also a vitamin. Vitamin F, fun. But make sure that you don't just turn the TV on and see what's on. Do not do that.
Don't surrender your power to a white coat, because that's the indoctrination. Unfortunately, people have been indoctrinated to think that that white coat means, doctor, can I do this? Doctor, can I do that? And that's, people are programmed to act like that. So essentially what you're saying is you take your power back, or realize you have the power to handle this if you take the initiative to figure out what's going on. And sadly, the medical industry is not going to tell you to change your diet. They're not going to tell you what cancer is, why you have it. It's not a boogeyman. It's not a germ you've caught. Like, you're unlucky and you got this thing, and it's just bad luck. It's something that can be reversed through a lifestyle. It's a signal that your body's telling you you're out of balance, and dis-ease is dis-ease, unease. It's a signal, and that if you surrender to a system that doesn't support you and only treats symptoms, you are about to enter hell if you go that route. And sadly, that system, as soon as people are diagnosed with cancer, which can be a scary thing, it doesn't have to be if you know the stuff we know, but I can imagine. And once you get, as soon as they are, what do? The doctor will say, we need to get you on chemo right away. And as soon as you start that conveyor belt, it's sadly, I think your odds of survival are going down rapidly.
Because of the line of work that we're in, I know a lot of people that have cancer. One gentleman I know got given the, he was stage 4, spread over his body. He bought some lateral vitamin B17. He did the research. He found out that pockets of populations throughout the world may have terrible diets, but their diets are high in B17. They eat the seeds or the apricots or apples. And he took 8 grams per day, spread over the day. When it came time for the checkup with the doctor before he commenced chemotherapy, the cancer was in deep remission, was almost gone, Stephen. Now, this is one of many solutions that I know, because I have done the yards. And I take B17 myself. If a medical journal tells you that B17, if you take it, it'll kill you, it probably means it's their way of saying we can't patent it and make a profit, because it's something that occurs naturally in nature. So let's make people afraid of it.
Of course, we could talk forever about doctors. I mean, there's Dr. Stanislaw Brzezinski, Dr. Thomas E. Levy, megadose intravenous vitamin C. Speaking about apricot seeds, a guy in the Bronx, New York, he reversed stage 4 colon cancer. He had been through chemo and radiation, The doctors told him to get his house in order because
Yep.
there's nothing they could do for him. He was going to die. The doctors told him he's going to die in 6 months, as if like they have the power to decide when you live or die.
Yeah.
He discovered Laetrile, vitamin B17, which are in apricot seeds. He reversed his stage 4 cancer. You can go on the news and watch this. There's clips on YouTube. So long story short, what happens to him? He's selling apricot seeds to other people with cancer, telling his story, how he reversed it with apricot seeds, and they threw him in jail.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the way they work.
Of course, people don't realize the FDA and science isn't there to protect you. That's the lie. The reality is it's there to stop you from having things that actually will serve you and heal you. So he went to jail because they said, we need to protect society. He's selling apricot seeds, the public could get hurt.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Which if you read between the lines, it's, we don't want the public realizing they can literally reverse cancer with apricot seeds.
In
China, they believe in it.
In China, B17 is not banned. You can buy it just in powder form, ultra pure powder.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing stuff. And
do you know anything? If I buy my mom powderized apricot seeds, is that as good as taking the seed and crushing it? I mean, do you have any knowledge in that?
Just put it into a good quality grinder. And let it make a bit of noise.
Like a Vitamix?
Yeah, dry. Just yeah. I've got a grinder.
Because they have powderized. I'm gonna get that. They have powderized apricot seeds. So that's another thing I'm gonna add. I have her on liposomal vitamin C and all sorts of stuff, and we've changed her diet. So
there's a lot of things, there's a lot of ways that you can get well. It's not a death sentence.
Yeah.
But
well,
people have got to learn these things. It's
you
only now.
Sorry. You have to unlearn. You have to unlearn the lie you've been told.
Well, you think about it, Steve. When you go to a doctor, see the man in the white coat, very formal. He's got a stethoscope around his neck, so he must be, a very important person. He says, "Okay, here's your prescription. I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time." And he's genuine and helping you. Do you really think that he's thinking about you and worried about you when you've gone? He's got the next person. You're part of the machine. Okay.
Of course.
Now, the person who worries about you, Stephen, 24/7, apart from mum, who worries about you 24/7? It's you, right? You are living your body. And so aren't you the best person to become your doctor?
That's right. Yeah. Take control, take power. You have the power. Know who you are. Who cares about you more than anyone? No one than you. Yeah. Right. And
it's very important. And, really, now I did not say who it is, but I know a doctor very close. And I know this for a fact. It's just like, they see something like 20, 30 people a day. They'll know the people, and they're genuine people that do want to help. Of course, they're helping using the tools that they've been given during their formal training, which was through who they were.
The pharmaceutical and the AMA and the Rockefeller controlled
But they don't usually worry about the people after hours. They don't lie in bed thinking, gosh, I hope that so-and-so hasn't got their tummy isn't still upset or something like this.
Well, John, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine with brain cancer, dear high school friend, she's passed now. I was, doing my best to tell friends and family and her, what to do. She never changed her diet, and she was on a new experimental chemo. Okay. Yeah. By the way, fans, chemo is derived from World War I mustard gas. It's a carcinogen. Chemo causes cancer, and it's so toxic, you can't touch the urine of someone that's had it gone through them. It's still that toxic. So it's a poison. So at any rate, she was on a experimental chemo, and I was sort of recommending things, and you really shouldn't mix pharmaceuticals with things. So I kind of put my hands up, but she asked her doctor, as you would apparently. And, the doctor's like, oh no, don't take this, don't take that. Sure. Because they wanted their data for this new chemo drug to be clean. She was basically a guinea pig for a new pharmaceutical drug. Right. And I was trying to tell them that. I'm like, you're listening to your doctor. He's telling you not to take things from the earth because he doesn't want his data tainted, because he wants a drug that is clean with data that he could sell to the market. And I'm like, you know, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like,
I do. Well,
yeah,
you know, she paid with her life,
yeah,
her trust in the people that sound very authoritative, know all the big words, and they've got data to prove that other methods don't work. So this is your best hope. And they explain it to hundreds of people. So of course they've got things off pat. You know, they know how to play with emotions. The first thing you're told is urgent. It's got to be done now. It's spreading fast. If you don't do chemo now, it's going to take over your whole body, and you're not going to live long.
yeah. It's
But when you start looking at true data, how many people live after having their treatments of chemotherapy?
0.
After, well,
3%. 3%, I think it is.
3% are beyond the 5 years. So what do they do? They do the cutoff at 5 years. So they say, well, okay, a lot of people survived up to 5 years, but past 5 years is a very sharp cutoff. And there's a macro study, which you're referring to now, where 3% of people lived beyond 5 years. 3%. Now, sure as anything, if I get 3% on any exam at school, it's a fail. But somehow
John, let's reverse it. Would you do anything that has a 97% failure rate? I mean, and is a poison and causes cancer. And here's a quick thing. With the methods you and I know about through alkalinity and cleansing and nutrition and restoring immunity, you'll be cancer free. I mean, you will restore your balance and your natural ability to reverse disease and kill cancer. All you need to reverse cancer is your immune system. But when you have toxic blood, you're providing the terrain and the blood where disease can thrive and proliferate. So, and you don't have an immune system in that case, you have a compromised immune system, which is usually killing cancer. So basically, where I'm going with this is, here's another diabolical thing about the system. Chemo is a carcinogen, radiation, if you stand next to a nuclear power plant, which is radiation, you will get cancer. It leaves cancer cells in your body. So if you're lucky enough to beat cancer and not die from the chemo, because it's usually the chemo that kills people, not the cancer, you now have cancer cells still left inside you, because you cannot eliminate cancer cells entirely with things that are carcinogen like chemo and radiation. And so hence we have this word remission, right? And the whole thing's a setup. It's like, you haven't changed your diet, you haven't reversed what brought the cancer on, you haven't changed your lifestyle, and it's a miracle you're still alive, and the odds of you having remission with treatments that are carcinogenic are almost 98%. So now they get to treat you again, and you're still in fear. You got to go for checks, and has it come up again? But you still don't know about changing your diet and your lifestyle, and that's the way to reverse disease. And this is what's so diabolical about it. It sort of sucks you in a second time if you're lucky enough to get out the first.
And unfortunately, chemo destroys your immune system, weakens your defenses. So you're just an open, you've got no defenses against the next round, which will come through.
It destroys what's ever left of your immune system, So, it destroys what's ever left of your immune system. It's an acid, it toxifies your blood and all that. So, I mean, so where, in terms of Spooky on a daily basis, like, do you go to the factory and, are you hands-on from a distance? Do you have meetings? Do you work, is there a lot going on?
Well, there certainly is a lot. I'll answer those in reverse order. There's always a lot going on in Spookyville. Factory? No, we do have production facilities. We do, obviously someone's got to make the equipment, but we've got all that all set up. No, it's more like a large family, really. You're talking like a business model of a business, but we're sort of like a more sort of, we are passionate about our staff. Even calling them staff seems a bit wrong. They're really nice people. we've got, you know, really beautiful people, you know, helping out for customer support, helping out for the shipping and the whole what am I trying to say? It's
It takes a village. It takes a village.
yeah. So we're a little community, sort of doing, you know, going through the motions of building these beautiful machines. It's yeah, it seems strange to think of them as staff. It really does seem quite cold.
I see. So where did when you download the software, and people, you can go to Spooky, the numeral 2.com, and you can download the software. You don't even need to buy a generator if you want to poke around it. There's just, I mean, innumerable cancer frequencies. There's innumerable any disease, happy frequencies, Christmas, essential oils, depression, you name a disease, you have frequencies for it in your database and in the free software. So just generally, where did all those come from? And you know, are those changing? Are those constantly, are there new frequencies being added? Was there, you know, are they, is it something that only Spooky has? Because it seems to be that only Spooky2 has this much frequencies.
It does seem to be that way, and that's probably because our focus is towards customers. We want to answer people's questions and their problems, deliver solutions to their problems. So yes, it does change. We generally update the database, or the DNA database in particular, every week. We have derived our own methods of calculating frequencies. The DNA frequencies, we derive them from the structural dimensions of the DNA strands. It's very scientific. We've published a paper which can be viewed on cancerclinic.co.nz. There's a page specifically explaining how these frequencies were derived. We did this on purpose, actually, because we don't want to allow other people to patent this improved method of deriving the frequencies. And as soon as we release it out into the open, it's unpatentable. That was a terrible business decision, right? But again, it's the way we think. Now,
that is so counter to capitalism and the Rothschild, you know, control.
It is. We're terrible business people, I guess. But I'll tell you something quite interesting. Now, just on this topic of how often we update the database. Coronavirus, COVID-19, when that first came out, we immediately used the sequence of that DNA to provide frequencies for the people that were unfortunate enough to be infected by this virus. We did it under a matter of urgency because it's such a critical disease. Now, we updated that database every 2 days. Every 2 days, research groups throughout the world were sequencing different strains of this virus, which had different genome specifications. So we had to keep up with them to provide, you know, the service for all our users. And so every 2 days we're updating. Now we update about once every week because the mutation rate isn't quite so fast now. But the number of strains has reached beyond 1,000. And each strain, despite what someone keeps on saying, each strain requires a different frequency because the dimensions are different. It's like a tuning fork. A longer tuning fork will vibrate at a different frequency. So
are you getting the CV? Are you getting the CV19 frequencies from someone who's sick, and you're running a biometric diagnostic?
No. We get the complete sequence of the genomes from various data sources on the internet. It doesn't cost us any money to do this. I'm a programmer as well. I've written programs that harvest information and bring it all together, then do the maths. Now, before we came along and did our magic, people were making money from the DNA frequencies. which is kind of sad, but I can't really blame them, I guess. It's just the way that they think. I can't.
So if they're available on the internet, then how can people make money from them? Or they were
Because it takes a lot of work to convert the data to frequencies. Not just that, but people like things gift wrapped.
Of course. Yeah.
Now, I discovered a few flaws, a lot of flaws, actually 20 flaws, one of the largest DNA frequency sources, in the way they calculated the frequencies, 20 different faults. And I was going to publish a paper which explained every single fault one by one and how and why, and then present that as part of my paper. And then in the very end, someone convinced me, no, it's not what we're all about. We're not into walking over people, destroying other people's livelihoods. What we are wanting to do is provide the alternative. And free doesn't mean it's worse. It's just the way that we think.
That's just such an incredible,
And so I decided, no, I'll cut the paper in from something this big to that big. Just give the bones, give the facts, and people can decide for themselves.
You're also coming from a place of authenticity and genuineness. You're growing despite yourself.
I am the world's worst salesperson. That's true. Yeah, but I mean, let's say you've got a generator. Let's say you bought a Spooky generator back in the early days, years ago, and then you find, gosh, I can still keep on updating the software which works on it. I can still keep on, with the new database and everything. There's no reason to worry at all. They're still looking after me after all these years, and that's what we do.
That's amazing. I think hats off for having this type of mindset and coming from your heart. And, it's not easy to have a big company like this. You have a lot of products, you have a lot of moving parts, and, no matter what, you're going to have ups and downs and stresses, and you're not after bottom line. Like you said, you're there for the patient.
Well, we want other people to have a mindset similar to us. What we have found is that the more we give out, the more we receive. That's just amazing. The way that we have found it. We can give everything away.
But that's sort of, don't you, in a way, that's the, if the monks in Tibet, they would say this is the way of the universe, in a sense.
Well, you've got to do it to understand it. We see a lot of monks here in China. I love going to the temples and learning and feeling all the energies there. I see, okay, we won't, but it's really amazing. But anyway, what we have found, it is a point of fact that the more you give to people, the more you receive. And it can be physical things you receive back, or just plain dumb luck you get back. Yeah. The more you give.
It's even now with this this whole, for the people that are, let's just say, perhaps there's people like myself who maybe we think we have an inside certain information that's maybe hidden. So we see things differently than the general public who are watching the news. We think there's a false narrative, or I think there's a false narrative, but what I find, it's related to this, that the more angry I get at seeing the unfairness and the deception, that does me no good. And it's like, when I am able to sort of exhale and be present and come from a place of, not judging, no judgment, the whole thing kind of floats away. It's not heavy anymore,
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to understand what makes other people tick, what drives other people.
Yeah.
The point I was going to make before, if you have bought any products from us, you've already gifted money to orphanages, hospitals, children's educations, you've already improved somebody's life. And those blessings will go back to you. Everybody that, you've got no choice.
That's great.
We do it for you, but it happens, and people will experience an improvement in their lives.
That's incredible. I would think
it's not lucky. It's because you have actually given, and without actually realizing it. And the greatest gifts are those that are hidden. If you give without telling anybody, they're worth 1,000 times the gifts that you then talk about. So if you want to make a big donation to some hospital, the very, very last thing you should do is stand behind a supersized check with the supersized numbers showing how much money you've given.
And have a plaque saying, you
probably get 0 blessings or fractions of a single blessing.
Yeah,
because what that is just grandiose. That's just chest thumping, showing off. If you do a hidden blessing,
it's much more from the heart when it's silent.
Yeah. So when I release free wild animals that were going to be killed, slaughtered for dinner, I buy them. They say, "Do you want us to peel them?" No, keep them alive. Keep them.
Gosh. Oh yeah.
So I buy them and I set them free. I don't tell anyone about it. I just do it. And
that's fantastic.
And there's the immediate euphoria you feel in knowing that you've done really, really good things to something which you didn't need to do. But you get paid back in 10-fold, 100-fold in other ways as well. So I don't now worry at all I don't worry about money. I don't worry about who likes me or who doesn't like me. I am my own man, and the universe gives me much more than what I need. Much more.
Yeah. When you surrender and allow, you're sort of getting out of your ego and into your heart. And when you're coming from that place of sort of non-judgment or presence, or your infinite sort of soul self, it's a place that's absent of fear. It's a very hard place to get to because most people are in their ego and don't understand that they're not their bodies and they're really not the human identity that they are. So, but if you can get to that place and if you can exist and be that, it's almost like an elixir. I mean, it makes life so much easier. And you send out, people pick up on it, and the universe responds, and shit just happens.
I'll tell you a little story. There was this fortune teller. It's when I'm telling the story, picture people that are Chinese, because that's where it happened. This fortune teller, he had 100% success rate. He was quite extraordinary. Normally, people that are really good at fortune telling die at a young age because they're using the karma and this and that. But anyway, this person
taking on other people's,
and this person was extraordinarily precise. He was accurate. He could tell you down to the exact amount of your pass rate for exams, where you're going to work, and how many people are going to be working with you, and everything absolutely precisely right.
Okay.
This person was told that he would die when he was 54. There was no doubt about it. When he got this news, he started drinking heavily and smoking more, and his lifestyle was bad. But then he spoke to a wise man who explained to him, okay, yes, that person gave you your future, your destiny. That is going to happen. You are going to die at 54. But you can change that by doing the deeds, which is the, setting free animals, just doing good to people. There's other veins to the story, but this is the Western version. He made major changes, came to realize that it's not all about him, and a gift of $1 to a person can be worth more than $1,000. It's in accordance to how much you can afford. How much you're giving is a portion of what you have. So if you give literally the shirt off your back, that's worth much more than a suit that you can buy.
Wow.
And he lived to an extraordinarily old age. He became an official, and he made a single decision that meant that the farmers in the province paid less tax. So he raised the living standard of thousands of farmers. That
That's
one
amazing.
single act gave him a huge amount of blessings, which is like a bank account of, how
That's fantastic.
it's like if you're a Christian,
Yeah.
you know what God reads, well, okay, it's the mark at the bottom of the page there. Well, if you do something that affects a lot of people, then your bonus points goes up. Now, I like to think that what we're doing with Spooky is kind of, I mean, I kind of hope, that that's
Dude,
kind of a similar thing.
You got it out there.
Lazy,
I mean, the product's real. You can buy it. You didn't just sit around thinking about it. You did something. I mean, this is insane. I mean, it's, it's about ripples, right? When you throw a rock into a pond, it ripples, and you can throw, a rock can be a negative thought or a negative action, or it could be a positive thing. It could be something as simple as putting a smile on someone's face. And it ripples,
The good people that Spooky has attracted, which I mentioned earlier on, that's been a fantastic blessing for me. I've always got someone to turn to moan to. Again, it's like an extended family. We know each other.
I can imagine. Yeah, because you're going to be attacked. I mean, there's a lot of people that we live in duality, right? There has to be a yin and a yang. So the dark side.
There was a yang. He was part of the Spooky group, but he parted company. Boy, he was a big yang.
Yeah, I don't get into that. I saw a little bit with DB, right? DB.
Yeah, that was scary. That was scary because it was someone that I fully trusted. And me being me, I'm not a closed book. I bounce ideas off, and I bounced ideas off him. So he knew what things were coming up, and so he was really he was a huge yang. But I haven't heard from him for a while. But the good thing is he took lots of other little yangs with him. So I mean, we could focus on what we should focus on, which is the healing as many people as possible. Now that's how we started, and it's how we're going to continue. We're not going to fight wars with people that are seeing demons being spoken to with voices in their heads and things like this. This is not the way we work. We think positive. We look forward.
Truly organic. It's truly organic, your methods.
It's hard to be angry when you laugh, It's hard to be angry when you've got a smile on your face. And when you do what we do, we live every day with smiles on our faces.
Yeah, you're essentially service to others, and that's really the great. When you're contributing to others, ultimately that's where you get the most fulfillment and satisfaction.
Yeah, I'm just very fortunate to be surrounded by such good people now. So many good people.
I think. I mean, the company, the website, the response, there's a resonance. There's sort of like no pun intended. There's a frequency that you guys emit that is genuine and authentic to me. Okay, that's my experience, and it does what it says in the box, and you do walk your talk.
Yeah.
And what more could you want, even if you break it down to just that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're serious in what we do. We want the absolute best. If there's any way that we can improve things, we do so. So I don't know how many other companies do this. They should do it. People, I like to think that they do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that the powers that should not be don't, because Spooky. I mean, technically, Rife machines are only supposed to be used by yourself. I'm not going to get into it because I don't even want to put it out in the universe, but let's just say I don't think doctors can use them on other people at this point, or can they in the United States?
No, not in America. We know a lot of doctors that do. A lot of good doctors that.
So people, let's think here. Why, it's like, okay, well, something's good and you can't use it. The Spooky is not allowed for doctors to use in the United States. You got to start to ask questions. This is part of taking control. When it doesn't add up, look into it.
Luckily, they haven't given rules on which side of the bed you've got to sleep on, and who, you know. Once you close your home door, they haven't got cameras in there.
I mean, we could do a show on the absurdity, insanity, the stupidity of everything that's going on. But we've covered a lot. We've been on for about an hour. Do you want to continue to cover some things? I don't know what your time is. We could wrap it up and do another segment. There's plenty of people in my circles that would want to talk to you as well.
Yeah, well, I'll mention our most recent device. It's our ray gun.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Ah, okay. No.
This is a really cool device because we wanted a device that everyone could use out from the box without reading the manual.
Is this a Rife ray gun with a plasma?
Well, it uses frequencies, yes, but it's not strictly speaking Rife. But when you think about it, when you break it down, even using remote treatments isn't Rife, it's frequencies.
That's true. That's the mechanism to transmit them.
That's right. Now, Royal Rife was using plasma machines, then John Crane used contact mode for the same frequencies. Now, ray gun, it does use a single frequency, but it's not for resonance of that frequency. It's a frequency of light that's most important. And it uses a very, very special light, a light which it is a type of ultraviolet, but it's a type of ultraviolet which doesn't do damage to living cells. It doesn't cause skin burns, it doesn't cause harm at all. But it wipes out pathogens immediately, like really fast. Now, we're selling them now. We've done lab tests and proven that it does kill cancer cells. We've proven that it does work deep through tissue. We did very expensive too. We got external laboratories to do these tests. So it works through the skin. If you read anywhere, you'll read that ultraviolet is dangerous, causes cancer. You'll also read that it doesn't go through your skin. Now we've proven all those points wrong with this ray gun. That's called ray gun. It looks like a gun. If you pull it out from the box, it's got one trigger. So what do? You pull the trigger.
Do you hook it up to your blue? Can I hook it up to an XM?
No, it's a standalone unit. Just put in the power, pull the trigger. So it's not frequency in that regard. The frequency is the wavelength. That's very, very important. It's not normal ultraviolet. It's a vacuum ultraviolet because the rays do not pass through oxygen. This is part of the. I'm going to buy that. It's super cool.
My mom has a tumor right in her chest. She's in a lot of pain.
Okay, so that'll be perfect for that. Now, I wanted to throw this at the audience before we pull the plug. If you put ray gun over a vein and you ran this, what doctors would say is cancer-forming ultraviolet, but we've proven it's not. And actually, there's papers that prove it isn't as well.
You don't have to tell me. Everything's inverted anyway. Everything they tell us is backwards.
And you run the gun for about a minute or two to allow a full circulation of blood through your body.
Like on the wrist, on your vein, yeah?
Yes, on a vein. You will kill all pathogens that are in your bloodstream.
Oh, my.
Think Morgellons. Think a lot of diseases. Now,
can you overdo it with this ray gun? Is there don't do it more than 5 minutes or?
Well, every skin's different. And I did it for 10 minutes on a very pink part of my body. I won't go into detail. And the next day, it went a little bit red. The next day it was nothing. So 10 minutes is an awful long time. If I expose the same part of my body to sunlight for 10 minutes, I would get more sunburn.
Okay. So this versus cold laser, is this cold laser on steroids?
Well, it's not laser as in a very focused beam. It's still a plasma tube at the end, but it's got very special gases at a very special pressure and very special electrode type.
That's insane.
And it's a
That's
real,
insane.
it's a real learning curve. And
Okay,
yeah,
so I'm thinking about the watch thing. The product you sell looks like a big watch that you put on your wrist.
yeah,
That's cold laser, right?
that's good. That's good.
Yep.
Lasers are more for like entrainment and for it does heal and cleanse the blood as well. Yes, I guess in
Okay.
that regard, it is that on steroids because this one annihilates pathogens that are in your blood.
And when you use the cold laser, the thing with the red light, are you sending, am I running frequencies? Because I haven't done that yet. Am I going to run frequencies through the XM when I'm using the cold laser?
You can do, but you can also just, the studies which have been, there's a lot of studies for cold laser, they basically state a very slow pulse. So we're talking like a 5 hertz pulse to improve the response, the bodily response from the laser. So we're not talking like Royal Rife frequencies, like cancer frequencies.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't need that because
this
the healing effect is the 650 nanometer wavelength of the laser light.
Yeah. What Spooky2 has is, I would say, 6 different modes of transmitting the frequencies to you, whether it's remotely,
that's right,
touching, plasma tube, ray gun, PEMF, the sonar thing, sonogram, whatever you call it. I mean, it's endless and it's insanely affordable. This ray gun sounds amazing. It's on the market now.
Yes, it is. I think it's about 2 weeks ago we released it. Something very recent, anyway. This is
okay. Let's finish up that, and then I want to talk about scalar because I haven't studied the scalar. I want to know what that does.
Scalar's cool. That deserves a bit of time. Oh, by the way, the ray gun, it's on a different website. We've made a line of products. If it doesn't need a computer to run, if it's standalone and it's really simple, we call it MirrorMate. So if you go to mirrormate.com.
How do you spell MirrorMate?
MIRAMATE.
Mirrormate.com. Okay, done.
We thought of MirrorMate because the products work like a miracle, and a mate's a friend. So it's like a doctor in a cupboard. Yeah, if you go there and have a look at our products there, we've got our pulsed EMF, which is a pulsed electromagnetic fields, just helping you out there. Because I'm
going to get into that. But I mean, now it's like, all I need is this ray gun. I mean, forget about PEMF. I mean, it's like, whoa.
Well, there's...
I'm teasing, but,
There's cool things with scalar. The best thing about scalar is not connecting up your computer and running frequencies through the scalar field, which it can do. But now we've got a user base of thousands in scalar. And so we can say with confidence that the very best way is to use molecular modulation, which means you buy a very, very, you must know this $600 cancer tablet. That's $600 per treatment. This person, well, you can buy one tablet and use it continuously. You put the tablet on one of the coils of the scalar. The scalar field has the information from that tablet, and you get your dose of that tablet over the course of several years, if you need it, from that one tablet. So it's a single investment. Isn't that fantastic?
That's fantastic. The scalar unit's like a big suitcase thing?
It's 2 suitcases. There's one that sends EMF out, and there's the receiver that sends the scalar back. It's a closed loop system.
Do you need, so when you buy the scalar, you get both suitcases, I guess?
Yes, you do. You throw in we throw in the second for free. But
bring it on.
Yeah, okay. But how's this for cool then? It works by putting healing information into the scalar field. Now, loosen your mind a little bit. Let's say you've got a cancer. Let's think. You've got a cancer, right? On the receiver coil, you put an anti-cancer drug, and you put some of your saliva also in that cup. Now, this anti-cancer drugs, in fact, it's best to use a sample of the cancer. So if you can, it's the absolute best way. How do we do? Oh, blood. Use a bit of blood and some of the anti-cancer like a chemotherapy drug, the cancer cells die. The information of those cancer cells dying is sent into the scalar field, and you'll get apoptosis in the cancer that's in your body, and the cancer just collapses. It can't survive.
It restarts apoptosis in a cancer patient?
Yeah.
No way.
We've had people that had no hope at all recover completely just using scalar. I'll tell you a little story. It's probably going to change a little bit from earlier on because it was several years ago, but it's before scalar was released, we were making some prototypes, and we took one to a quantum conference in Beijing. They were gobsmacked when they saw it. They couldn't believe that. Basically, like a light bulb could light up, even though there's only one wire going to it. A silly little thing like this. But there was a late prototype. Without giving the person's name away, a woman came to us and said that she was seriously ill. She had a huge cancerous lump in her breast that had swollen, and we said, "Look, try this scalar device." She used the Spooky2 scalar improperly. She didn't use anything on the receiver coil. She just set up a scalar field. I mean, the thing she did right was to tune it properly, and that's not difficult. But this. It was just a plain scalar field. She, just through the course of night, I think she slept in the scalar field. Well, that over the course of 2 months, every time she'd go for a CT scan, the tumor would shrink until it became smaller than the size of a pea. This was just before we went on a tour through America. Yay, America! Just before the first conference we held there, we got a message from her on the phone saying that her cancer had gone.
Wow.
That was the latest.
So,
and you mentioned the buzz that gave us, like we made she's now above ground instead of pushing up daisies. That if you save someone's life,
that's exciting.
Or improve the quality of life that they're having, it's like your whole body gets so much energy. It's like, wow, this is just amazing. So that was the first thing I said in the conferences. Hey, this is what we've done. So I changed the PowerPoint. I showed all these things, how the graph shows the thing going down and down. It's not showing off. It's just because we are so proud.
It's exciting.
So happy to be able to do that. It's not just us, as I keep on saying, it's a whole lot of people in Spooky that use us as like a conduit. We don't mind being conduits, goodness happens.
Yeah, and you know what's sad is just what came to my mind is, you want to shout from the roofs, and if you were in America, they'd have you in jail in probably a month, because you're revealing something that could help the public, and it's that simple.
Yeah, it's a dark time in healthcare at the moment, where decisions are made on people's lives and they're wrong decisions. This is what's so important to self-educate, learn. Instead of turning on the TV, do research, real research. Don't do a Google research.
Yeah.
Because they've got this covered.
Throw your TV out. Mine's unplugged. So, I mean, it's the equivalent.
Yeah. And if you do a Google search, you find all these papers which were sponsored by who. So you've got to dig a little bit deeper, and then you find, you can actually go into raw databases and get the real information. And that's it's just so important to find who wrote papers, whether they were financed by, sponsored by other corporations. I don't go into, the drug cartel and things like this. I don't believe that people on purpose are bad or doing bad things or evil things.
No.
It's just their nature to make money, and if they're not making money, then the shareholders get unhappy and they lose their jobs. So it's just they've got a family to support and this and that. But who's looking after you? You know,
Yeah.
you
We
are.
live in,
So
yeah, that's it. It's really
it's a
take care of
no-brainer.
yourself. Take
Yeah.
your power back, right?
So,
Unindoctrinate yourself. Unlearn everything you've learned.
well, you can add to it and decide for yourself which parts you'll drop. And some things are good. You know, doctors, the medical establishment are very, very good in diagnosing things.
Of course, and surgery
Well,
and
reasonably good at diagnosing things. Reasonably.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a big world out there. There's more than just one answer. You know, if
Hmm.
you get a cancer in your breast, you know, you can cure the cancer by waving your arms vigorously for long periods of time. How's
Well,
that for crazy? You go like a bird. You go in a
yeah.
circular motion like this.
That's because, yeah, cancer is anaerobic. It needs low oxygen. So if you increase the oxygen in your, you know, it kills, that helps alkalinity and oxygen kill cancer, you know? So
And people here in China, you see people going for a park, walk through parks, and they're waving their arms wildly like this. You know they've got cancer. You know they're going to beat it. And that's
wow.
zero money, no money
Mm,
spent, just
yeah.
by learning something. They found out something. So
Yeah.
knowledge is everything.
Knowledge is everything. Awareness is, you
Yeah.
can't fix what you're not aware of, you know?
So
You
maybe
can't
we
fix
get a few
something.
Americans now, or people in Singapore, waving their arms about.
Waving their arms.
Yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
know,
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, it
um,
looks funny.
I mean, I always say, like, if you, I, you know, I'm not to make light of your diagnosis, but if you have cancer and you want to live, stop eating and don't be anywhere near a doctor.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, you know, I kind of like, it's sort of like the most, like, what are you, crazy? You know, like, that's the thing, you know? So
Yeah,
I'm not, of course I'm being cute, but the thing is, I'm just saying, if people take control of their lives, like we were talking about earlier, and empower themselves and realize that, you know, the cancer is telling, your body's telling you something.
yeah.
And, you know, and
And if you're healthy, good. Take something like quercetin so that you keep good and you get
yeah,
the energy. You feel like a rocket when your feet hit the ground in the morning. They should be running,
yeah,
not
yeah,
limping, not going slow,
of course,
fumbling
man.
around. You want
Yeah.
to.
So, yeah. So where can people get your, like, I've seen you on videos that it's SAMA, Spooky Ask Me Anything. Is
If
that
you
on
go to
YouTube?
if you go to spooky2videos.com,
Okay.
we've collected a lot of our videos there, so that's a good place to head off to.
Spooky, the numeral 2 videos.com. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. All right.
No spaces
Well,
or anything fancy.
yeah, I mean, I've been thrilled to speak with you, and I want to thank you for everything you've done. You know, I personally am a huge fan. I'm not affiliated with the company. I'm not getting paid. I think everyone should learn not only about their body and how to take control of it and what disease is, but also, you know, everyone should have one spooky generator in their house with using their software and get familiar with it. That's my view.
It is.
I make colloidal silver water as well. You know, I gargle with that. I kill that thing's colloidal silver water is amazing. However, you know, you don't really want that in the house with kids, but you know, there are things you need to learn.
You know, if you can make a single investment that probably costs about the same as a single doctor's visit or maybe 2 visits, and it lasts you for the rest of your life, it becomes a mate.
Yeah,
That's the sort
exactly.
of thing. You just put it into a cupboard. You can forget about it if you don't need it, or you can take it out and run
Yeah,
programs that always give you the energy or prevent things from happening later on further down the track.
it's great. Yeah, I mean, people
And
are killing mold in their house with these generators. I mean, it's like,
precisely. So for a
yeah,
single investment, you can do so much. And we
yeah.
don't want your money. We don't need your money. We just want you to get
Mm.
well. So a
Yeah,
simple investment. You don't need to have
yeah,
a whole lot of generators. It's true that the more generators you have, you know, especially for serious diseases, the better
yeah,
the likelihood of a positive outcome.
yeah.
But we
Well,
really
it's
do
funny
want.
because I have 6 generators. I only have 2 really, but I bought 2 for my mom and 2 for my dad, but they never figured out how to use them, so I took them
Oh,
back. So I have 6.
okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so at any rate, well, look, I really enjoyed this. I'd love to do it again. You know, on different topics, and there's people in my circles that would love to speak with you that are spooky fans, and there's people that don't even know about Royal Rife who would love to speak with you. So I'll put in the description where to get you. But why don't you just mention the places to get you if you want to, whatever
Okay.
you, and we'll go from
Sure.
there.
Well, my personal website, my company is Cancer Clinic New Zealand. So if you go to Cancer Clinic NZ, or NZ, I should say, because it's an American audience, sorry, gosh, I can't even say it right, can I? cancerclinic.co.nz.
Okay.
That's where you get the very, very latest databases, presets, everything. The works is there.
So cancerclinicnz.com is where.
No, cancerclinic.co.nz. So it's .co.
Oh, okay. .co.nz. Gotcha. Okay.
That's my personal site. The Spooky2 one is spooky2.com. On spooky2.com, you can see there's a launch pad for going to see the videos. We've got a spooky2support.com, which has got every single question you'd ever think possibly of with using Spooky2 products is there. There's the Spooky2 support, spooky2videos.com. There's the forum, which is a very active area. So if you feel that you need advice or you'd like to share some information with other people, the forum is a good place. And we've got Spooky2 Rife for Life, which is a massive group of like-minded good people that support each other. You know, it's important, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm involved. That's Facebook, I think. Yeah.
Yes, that's Rife for Life. It's Rife for Life. It's important for people to realize that if you're sick, you're not alone. There are people that will help you. They're not after any money. They want to help you.
Yeah.
There are good people out there, and they're called Spooky2 users.
And the reason it's named Spooky is because Spooky is a Rife frequency system that one of the modes of administering the frequencies is quantum entanglement, which Einstein, I guess, discovered, and he said it's, quantum entanglement is spooky at a distance.
Yes, that's right.
And is that why that's
right.
why the company's
named
Spooky?
We stole
really honor of
Pardon?
Yeah, in honor of Einstein and quantum entanglement.
Sure.
Right. Okay.
So Einstein basically didn't understand it himself, and so to him it was spooky. So this is how we got it.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. And fantastic, thanks for being here. And I'd like to have you on again if that's okay. And
sure,
we'll be in touch. So okay. I'm gonna just shut it off, and we can continue talking. Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay. Well, thanks for having me.
Goodbye, everybody.